Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on Sir Thomas More, and we get to hear from Sir Thomas More again today in this scene that is in some versions known as Act 3, Scene 1, and in other versions known as Act 3, Scene 2. And there's a lot going on in this scene so far. Sir Thomas More, remember, had been able to talk people out of having a riot. He was able to talk them out of convicting a pickpocket. He's very good with words and good with trickery, and this has gotten him good-hearted trickery. This has gotten him promoted to be the Lord Chancellor, which is like the second in command of the country. He's like the king's right-hand man now. And he took a moment at the beginning of this scene to be like, you know, I've risen pretty far. Let's make sure that I don't fall equally as far or even farther. I need to make sure that I stay humble. And then we find out he's asked his servant Randall to dress up like him and pretend to be him when Erasmus shows up. Erasmus is a very wise man of Dutch descent who is coming to visit. He's been having dinner with some of the heads of state and that kind of thing. So now he's supposed to come and meet Sir Thomas More. But of course, since they've never met before, More wants to try to see if he can recognize that this isn't the actual Sir Thomas More. He wants to, you know, play this little game and see if Erasmus is able to tell, based on mannerisms, the way that he's dressed, whether or not this is the person that he's intending to see. But before we can get to that bit, a sheriff comes in with Faulkner, who was accused of sort of inciting another not quite riot, but a little kerfluffle in the marketplace. And when Sir Thomas More finds out that he works for the secretary of the Bishop of Winchester, I believe it is, or Westminster, one of those, starts with a W, then he sentences the guy to 3 years in Newgate, which is as long as it's a prison. 3 years is as long as this man is supposed to continue growing his hair, because it's been a long time, and for some reason Sir Thomas More is taking umbrage with this guy's hair. He's like, lock him up for 3 years, or if he cuts his hair, then he only has to stay in there for a month. So they take him away, and everybody except for Randall leaves the stage, at which point the Earl of Surrey enters with Erasmus, and the two of them are talking about, you know, what a great honor this is going to be to meet Sir Thomas More, because he's so well regarded and he's so well spoken and all of this sort of thing. And Erasmus decides that he needs to greet Sir Thomas More, who's actually Randall, in Latin. And Randall's like, no, never, like, I swear I'm never going to speak Latin again. Otherwise I would speak some Latin to you, but I swore off Latin. So come on in, my woman can come and entertain you. And they're like, that's a little interesting. And there's a little bit of back and forth. And even though Sir Thomas More had told Randall to not talk too much, because the more he talks, the stupider he's going to sound, Randall just keeps talking, and he starts saying some things that are not so nice about the Dutch people, at which point Sir Thomas More re-enters and says, "Fool, painted barbarism, retire thyself into thy first creation." Thus you see, my loving learned friends, how far respect waits often on the ceremonious train of base illiterate wealth, whilst men of schools, shrouded in poverty, are counted fools. Pardon, thou reverend German, I have mixed so slight a jest to the fair entertainment of thy most worthy self. For know, Erasmus, mirth wrinkles up my face, and I still crave, when that forsakes me, I may hug my grave. So he kicks Randall out and then turns to Erasmus and the Earl of Surrey and was like, sorry, that was just a little joke that I was playing to illustrate that just because somebody is dressed well doesn't mean that they're intelligent or of any societal worth. The same as people who maybe are very learned but look very poor are completely overlooked and forgotten about. But he was like, you know, I just did this little joke. I like to do little jokes. I hope that I'm able to do little jokes until the time that I die. And Erasmus is like, actually, that was a pretty good one. I appreciate that. That was well done. And they in this little introductory bit of conversation, Sir Thomas More is like, oh, and I see that you've been with our fantastic poet, the Earl of Surrey. And Surrey is like, that makes me sound like I'm an idiot to say that I'm a poet. Like, who likes poets? Don't like play up that bit. And Sir Thomas More, being Sir Thomas More, is going to have something to say about that in tomorrow's monologue. So I'll see you then. Mwah.